Welcome to Expand Your Empire, the podcast where women stop deferring wealth and start building financial power. I'm Amanda Taylor, investor, strategist, and disruptor of outdated money rules. It's time to own your worth, grow your assets, and build a legacy that lasts.
All right, get this started. I'm just like, always be recording. But yeah, today's conversation is one that I have really been looking forward to. So welcome back to Expand Your Empire, everybody. I am sitting down with Meaghan Young, a jewelry designer, educator, entrepreneur. And I met her in New York City when we were there for the Stevie Awards. And I was just shocked, sat down next to her at an Irish pub after the awards, and we got to talking. And I was so surprised. And I knew I had to talk to her because she's built something far bigger than just a product-based business. What started out as creating jewelry has evolved into a multi-layered ecosystem that blends creativity and ownership and real wealth strategy. So very excited to have you here. Welcome to the podcast, Meaghan.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm
Yeah.
excited to be here today. That was a really fun moment meeting you in that pub, actually.
Yeah.
And just watching you kind of jump up and down in your seat in excitement for having met me and that I would be able to talk about some really cool things with you. That was awesome.
Yeah, it's funny in this entrepreneurial space, and when you meet people who are so aligned with what you do, and you get really excited. You're like, oh
Yes.
my gosh, you get me. You get
Yes,
me.
I love that feeling.
So that was amazing. Kind of a serendipitous moment there. Yes, we were in a room full of other entrepreneurs, but to be in the wealth building space, for me, and then to learn how you've done it and how you've taken jewelry and turned it into this amazing wealth building business. So I know the story, but tell our audience kind of how you got into this whole thing. We were both Colorado girls. I have since vacated Colorado, sadly, but I'm not, San Diego's not so bad. But yeah, tell me a little bit about how you got into this. Tell our audience and what happened. How did we get here?
Well, it's actually very random how I got into jewelry making.
Always.
I was a writer. I mean, I'm still a writer, but I went to school for writing. And I took some time off and I was tending bar in this really super fancy bistro here in Crested Butte, Colorado. And I had gone to a bead store and was shown how to bead a necklace. I wore it to work one night. I had a full bar and someone asked me about it and she asked if she could buy it right off my neck. And I said, okay, I sold it to her. And then I walked down the other side of the bar and these other two women were like, well, what's it? What was that about? And I said, well, she wanted to buy my necklace. And they both said to me, well, I was going to ask you about that necklace. Can you make me one? And I said, sure, but in a different color, sure, no problem. And then that next morning after it was a late night, and the next morning I had off, I called that jewelry store, which was happened to be in Uray, Colorado, which is a couple hours from here. Um, what time are you open till today? Noon. Oh, okay. What about tomorrow? No, we're closing at noon today forever. And I said, well, I have to get there. I have to get all these different colored beads and all these things. And so I raced there. I bought everything. And that is literally how I got into jewelry making. It is
Wow.
so random. And then I decided I wanted to be a metalsmith. So I went to jewelry school and became a jeweler. So I became more than just a metalsmith. I actually became a jeweler, diamond setter, platinum smith, those kinds of things. And that's how it began.
All from beads.
Yes.
Just,
Just being creative. And I was just going to wear that necklace to a wedding. It was nothing I was intending to sell. But then
that's,
I got hooked on the
yeah.
selling.
Yeah.
Wait, I can make money selling jewelry? What? Okay. This is pretty
And
cool.
then, so the jewelry, like, um, I just moved to San Diego. I'm in the Little Italy neighborhood, and they have one of the biggest farmers markets in, I don't know, it was huge. And I'm thinking, when you say, "Oh, I'm making jewelry," there were a lot of jewelry people there at the farmers market, and I see those at like, art markets and things like that. What point did you go from, "Oh, I'll just sell some pieces," to, "I'm going to make this a business"?
Funny, I actually have set up at that little
Oh,
market
no way.
myself when I lived in San Diego. Um, Well, I went to jewelry school. It was a 3 month program. And most people that go to that, jewelry school, uh, and this isn't a bad thing or anything, but they go and they work for a jewelry store, right? They become
Hmm.
the bench jeweler in the back of the jewelry store, setting diamonds and
Yeah,
repair work and all those things. But I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that at all. I wanted to have my own company. I got that taste for selling.
yeah.
Once you get that, you can't go back, right? And so I started my very first company, which was called my Ohm Designs because I was also a yoga teacher at the time. So I created this yoga jewelry company and I would travel to LA and San Francisco and New York. And I did very, very, very well. It was exciting. It was very exciting. I sold my very first lotus necklace in San Francisco to the founder of Prana, the clothing company. Since yes, and she wanted me in her stores and things like that. But then right after that, was the crash. It was the financial
Yeah.
crisis, and it all came crumbling down. Nobody was buying. I lost my wholesale accounts, and I didn't get into what these Prana and Athleta and all these
Mhm.
catalogs and stuff. Um, but that was a blessing actually because I that's when I started researching and realizing, because I watched silver go from $15 an ounce to 50.
Yeah.
Like, what the heck is happening here? I'm holding silver. What do I actually have? So that's when I started obsessively researching what silver is, what sound money is. And I started studying, global economics and the financial system and commodity. I mean, everything. I just am obsessed.
This is what got me. This is it right there. You went from jewelry, being creativity and cash flow to a vehicle for real wealth. And it wasn't just the buy, sell, make a product, build a website, hope it sells. You intentionally moved away from that once you studied the asset that you had in the precious metals space, which is awesome.
Yes, because this is what I realized. The jewelry industry is actually the best industry in the entire world. For other reasons besides this, but jewelry designers have the ability to build wealth in their businesses like none other in the entire world because we have access to precious metals as a supply expense.
Yes.
Who can do that? Nobody.
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 Nobody. So not only did you start, you were making jewelry, you were selling jewelry, and then you realized, this wealth building piece, then what happened?
Um, Well, I had some, kind of unfortunate life things happen, and I was living in San Diego at the time, and I moved back to Colorado with my son, and I had to work for other people, build their companies for them. But I never gave up. I never gave up that desire
Mhm.
to have my own business to be successful. And not only that, by financially too, financial literacy, just kept studying. And at a certain point, I just went for it. I just went for it again.
Yeah.
And I found a mentor that I still work with. And I learned a whole other way of doing business in the world, and all I did was apply it to the jewelry industry. And that's what I teach designers now. I love being innovative, and what I have built, I've come up with my own exclusive business models based on what I learned from her. And I just applied it to the jewelry industry. And then what I realized again, wow, the jewelry industry is the best industry in the world because it has so many revenue streams that all you have to do is just pick it up and apply it to your business model. You don't have to get all creative. Like, of course, we are creators. We want to
Right.
create our own revenue streams, but you can just start.
Yeah.
It's just there and ready for you to use. Yeah.
Right. So you now help women, you know, design jewelry that becomes a revenue stream and a tax strategy. Like you started your own school, right?
Yeah, so I have jewelry school, so I do teach
Yes.
metalsmithing, but then I also started what's called jewelry business school, which is what we're
Yes.
taking global right now. And yes, so because I've studied all of this stuff for so many years, I've been preaching for 15 years to anyone who would listen to buy silver. And look where it is. It's like around $100 an ounce. And
Right.
it's not going to stop.
Not with the way, yeah.
No.
If you know anything about markets and following markets and the everything that's going on right now, any turmoil over here means precious metals just go up. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So, and it's not just the turmoil, it's the fact that it's an industrial metal and
Hmm.
countries are racing to get as much as they can now because it goes into everything. And not only that, but like the US has just made it a strategic reserve asset. Okay, so now it's a national security thing. And there's things like I think it's Samsung that has created an electric battery, a car electric battery that will charge in 9 minutes. It's not supposed to come out till 2027 or something like that,
Yeah.
but it takes 35 ounces of silver per battery. Okay, so this is it's not going to stop. I
It's not.
expect it to go into the hundreds.
All right. Everybody, you heard it. Yeah. Get your silver. Um, so another thing, and I'm just going to touch on it because when you and I spoke last time, you hit on Bitcoin and how you got into that as well. And we talked a little bit before we started recording that I'm going to have you back for another episode because I think we could get into that. How are you, or are you putting that inside of the jewelry business? Are you doing that separate from the jewelry business? Why Bitcoin? Like, tell me a little bit more about that.
So when I started studying silver and gold and understanding what real true sound money is, because that's really the basis of understanding it all. The basis to understanding Bitcoin is first to understand what makes money money. Okay, I had heard about Bitcoin way back, 15 years ago, and all the finance people and all these experts and stuff that I've been following for all these years were like, no, 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 don't touch that. Over all these years, one by one, they have all changed their minds, okay? Because Bitcoin is money.
Mhm.
And yes, I incorporate it into my businesses because it's kind of similar to AI disrupting industries. And as entrepreneurs, we have to, it's imperative that we understand how AI
Yep.
can and will disrupt our own industry. It's the same thing with Bitcoin. It is disrupting industries.
Mhm.
But it doesn't have, if you can study and be ahead of it, and this is just what innovation is all about, right? If you can study and understand something and be ahead, you will always be in business. You will always be able to innovate. You can then take that innovation like Bitcoin and complement your industry and your business with it. So it's yes. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
And that's the thing. I was just so impressed that you taught yourself everything. You didn't grow up like a lot of us with financial education. They don't teach this stuff in schools. I mean, definitely not Bitcoin, but I mean, whoever heard of precious metals as an investment, let alone basic financial education? So you had to teach yourself everything. So how did that really shape the way you now approach money and risk in your business and in your personal investments?
well, Bitcoin reduces the risk of entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So it backs everything I do. So, for example, here's a perfect example. I wanted to open a second jewelry school. So I wanted to open one in Sedona. I had never been to Sedona. So I just rented a place, sight unseen, on the internet with, phone calls. They sent me a lease. I I knew that Sedona had a $1 billion a year economy, but and they didn't have any metalsmithing, but I didn't know. I had a pretty good bet that it was going to work out,
Yeah.
but I didn't know for sure. I have to buy all the equipment and rent everything but I have the Bitcoin, my treasury that backs everything I do because Bitcoin is a savings tool. And when you save in Bitcoin, it rewards you, and the reward is more money.
I like more money.
Yes, right? So you've got this tool that's basically printing money for you. And so if you're taking a risk, it's like insurance. It's like an insurance
Mhm.
policy, right?
Well, yes, and that's, we talked about this. Bitcoin isn't just an investment, it's a mindset shift. And the same is to be said when I'm talking to people about cash value life insurance. It's the same thing. You're not using it for the death benefit necessarily. That's a bonus. It's all of the ways that you can change it into a savings and investment vehicle that you
Yeah.
can leverage. And I
Yes.
think Bitcoin works very similarly.
Oh, it does. I read your article on the whole life
Oh,
insurance the other day. In fact, I had researched that myself years ago. I don't. I have a book here somewhere. It's called How the Rockefellers
yep.
Do Something. I don't know, but it's all about whole life insurance.
Yeah.
It's the very same thing. And but you become your own bank. So I
Yes.
become my own bank. And this is also why, especially if you're in the banking industry, you're going to want to research this, okay? Because this banks hate Bitcoin
Yeah.
because it's meant to, well, Bitcoin was really designed as a revolution, so it's meant to destroy the banking system, really. But if you stay ahead of it, then you
Yeah.
can stay alive.
Yeah. We're definitely, we'll transition back to the business side of things. I do want to have this conversation 100% because I agree with, if you're not using AI in your business, you're behind. If you're not getting into Bitcoin and other digital assets, we're behind. It is changing in the industry. We have to shift our mindset. We have to educate ourselves. I want to be a platform to help people do that for certain, and you're going to be my go-to for that. So I am going to bring you back for that, but I want to get back to the business side of, you are, I mean, you went from making a beaded bracelet to now you're in the process of consolidating your multiple businesses into a scalable global brand. So what did you have to let go of in order to move to that next level?
Good question. I had to let go of teaching metalsmithing in person.
Yeah.
So actually, I just closed my school that I've had for 8 years here in Crested Butte, and I'm actually closing my Sedona school in March, at the end of
Oh,
March.
wow.
I'm still going to be teaching and doing and offering retreats in Sedona because
Mhm.
I absolutely love that place. But I will be doing it differently. I won't need my space, my school space, because well, I've been teaching metalsmithing for over 10 years also, so it's just time, it's
Yeah.
time. And but it has been my bread and butter. And so I've had to, the last, few months, as I've let go of everything so that I can focus just 100% on jewelry business school. It's been challenging, but
Yeah.
because I'm my own bank,
Yeah.
I've been fine, right? So, but yeah, that's what I've had to let go of, is really those schools, that revenue. But that's what it's about. When you want to scale, you have to, right? You have to raise that floor.
Absolutely. And as a business consultant myself, when I go into these businesses and you said the word that is completely unscalable, in person.
Yes, right.
Completely unscalable. If you are doing in-person customized, one-to-one or anything in person, that is not scalable. So to be at the level you want to be, you're either charging through the roof for your time to be in
Right.
person, or you're moving the model a different way. So you said it right there. That is how we get to the next level. And that can be frightening at first. If that is one of your main revenue sources, to say, we're going to scrap this to go completely in a different direction, that's a huge, change. So how
It
did
is.
you move past that? Because that's a big thing for an entrepreneur who's been doing the same thing over and over again. You can see what you need to do, but actually doing it is a leap.
It is a leap, and it has been an up and down in a way that I haven't experienced in years.
Yeah.
And so I had to pull out all my tricks, my
Yeah.
mindset tricks that I teach other people. Like,
Yes.
wow. And so I meditate, which
Mhm.
helps me so much. It can change my whole mindset in just minutes.
Mhm.
Um, I get outside a lot. Yoga, taking care of myself, well, also being with like-minded people
Yes.
and having discussions like this,
Mhm.
because you understand, right? And having a mentor. And I
Mhm.
mean, the thing is that I've always known that Jewelry Business School is a multi-million-dollar company,
Yeah.
but it's been hidden inside my jewelry school business. And so that's what we're doing. We're taking this hidden thing that did really well, and it's been proven again and again, and my business models are proven, and we're taking it to the world now. But it is challenging, and you have to work on your mindset. There's just no
Yeah.
other way. There's just no other way you can do it.
100%.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that, because I think that's a big piece. People are like, oh, she makes it look so easy. She just dropped the one thing that was making her money and decided to change lanes. Any, entrepreneur, business owner, high achieving woman has to have that alignment within to be able to make those big moves. So, and you're going right back to, this is going to air later, but I think the episode that came out last week, I know I'm not doing the timeline right with recordings, but was talking about how doing well can be a downfall. Because yeah, I'm doing pretty well. And your business school is doing really well, but if you really want to get to that next level, you're going to have to get uncomfortable. You're going to have to do something different. So you are building towards land, retreat center, long-term assets instead of just more programs. So why was owning that infrastructure, so important to you?
Owning the infrastructure of Joy
The
Business School.
whole thing. Yeah.
um,
I mean, I think that's an innate entrepreneurial, like,
yes,
that's probably just in
yes,
here.
it is. It really is. I mean, we are all given different dreams, and I did not grow up. I grew up in a log cabin. I spent most of my time barefoot running around outside. We didn't have a lot of money. My parents both went through bankruptcies. I know, we don't learn that financial literacy when we're growing
Mhm.
up. I didn't have anything. I was completely on my own. I really didn't have anything at all. And I was putting everything back into my business.
Mhm.
And I want to be wealthy. I wanted to learn, like, other people are doing it. How are they getting to do it? So I mean, I research obsessively so that I want to win. I want to win. I don't want to just, I want to win at life. And to me, that avenue is through business. And it's particularly jewelry, but um, I want to win so that I can help other people. I want to build things. I want to build things. I want to grow food, and I want to, I just want to build things, and I want to have the money to do it.
Yeah. You're the poster child for what I'm trying to do here, because it's this wealth, this thing that I want people to grow. It is not greed. It is
Oh,
out of very strategic, impactful drive. Because yes, I was, listening to something the other day, and they were talking about just the eat the rich and all this, we get these messages of just how bad it is. Rich people are bad and they're hoarding and they're accumulating and all of this stuff. And I want to break that narrative. And you're doing it. You're not settling for what you have. You're going after more. And it's not after more money. It's after more value, more impact, more ability, more choice, more freedom. That's what it's about. So I'm glad it's not just me preaching this, you're actually doing it, alongside a lot of other amazing women in business that I know. I was at an event last week, billion dollar impact is these, business owners and entrepreneurs partnering with nonprofits. Like, we're doing this for a reason. Yes, we want to have a great life and provide for our families and things, but it's bigger than that. Like you just said, grow your own food. That doesn't have anything to do with business, but and I but that's it, right? We have choice when we do these things. That's why we're doing it. And so I just love your mindset. I love your attitude about it. I love everything. I think more voices like that need to be out there, because you took something that most people are perfectly happy. Like, oh, I'm doing this jewelry thing. I make it, I sell it to a few people, and they're doing really well. And you're like, no, this is bigger. This is better. I can do more and I can impact more people and help them do bigger, better, more. So
Yeah. And that's how you change the world.
that's how you change the world. That's how I told somebody the other day. I'm like, but I got to change the world. Like that's just what I got to do. That's just how it works. So
Yeah.
for the woman listening who is creative and talented and making money, but not building wealth yet, what is that first belief or behavior that she needs to challenge?
I think it's about learning complex things, right? The thing about me is that when I don't understand, I have to know how things work.
Yeah.
And so I will study something until I have it, until I get it. And they make the financial uh you know the system sound and seem so complex because they don't, well, they don't want everyday people learning, right?
Nope. Yeah.
uh
Hmm.
but to me, that's the thing. It's like it's okay to learn complex things. It doesn't have to be scary. And definitely now, all you have to do is open up Claude or Chat GPT and just ask.
Yeah.
I want to learn this. Teach me this. Um, I think it's imperative, absolutely imperative to understand how to build wealth. Otherwise, you're not just going to get left behind. You're going to become irrelevant.
Right. And I don't want to be a fear monger in any way. I just wrote another article yesterday. It won't come out yet, but you know, I are we at the same age? I'm at Gen X, and the retirement stats are staggering, whether you're W-2 or, a self-employed person. And so you're right. If that's not a focus, if you're putting your head in the sand, assuming that the old rules still apply, we are going to be a nation of impoverished, dependent people. And I don't think that's what any of us wants for our future. So these are the types of things that we have to start investing in, not just precious metals and Bitcoin and, all these assets, but the education and the awareness of what is possible and what we can do, because you're right, they try to make it seem way more complicated than it is.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's huge. I don't, I try to stay away from the doom and gloom too, because you can really get, you know, go downhill.
Mhm.
It's,
Fast.
but the thing is, there's so much hope
Yeah.
and there's so much that we can do, studying and innovating and being ahead, seeing what's coming and be
Yeah.
ahead of it. That's the game that we're Well,
That's the tagline of our
right?
business newsletter, stay ahead of the curve. Like let's go.
Yes.
How do we do that as because we're innovators, we're entrepreneurs. We got into this for a reason. Nobody tells us what to do. We go out and do it, right? And
Yeah.
we lead the way. So I love that you're doing that. So what is next for Jewelry Business School? Like where, global, yes, but what are the next steps?
Well, I'm deep in building it out, which I didn't think it was. We're changing platforms. Where I got an assistant. That was one of the biggest things that I
Oh
did for
yeah.
myself. When you're
Oh yeah.
applying, there's no way I could do it without a 40-hour a week assistant. There's just no way.
Yeah.
So that was a big investment that I, at the very same time as not letting go of my bread and butter. I also made
Hmm.
this huge expense, but it's absolutely worth it. And it's just awesome. It's so clean and it's very, very strategic and simple.
Yeah.
It's simple and right, I have three different audiences. I've got start your business, grow your business, scale your business. So I've got these three different business models, but I figured out a way to speak to all of them at once, very, very strategically, and then funnel them into the
Yes.
appropriate place where they need to be. But it's all about zero inventory. That's the business model that because unfortunately, jewelry designers are going out of business every single day right now. It's awful because, and I'm seeing it everywhere, on these Facebook groups and everything because of the price of silver.
Hmm.
They're just going out of business. Because they don't know what else to do, but I do. And then when I meet with the people in my group, my community, they're just stable, they're grounded, they've got their zero inventory business model going on. They're not panicking.
Love it.
I Yeah, so you don't have to go out of jewelry. You don't have to go out of business if you're in the jewelry industry. You just have to learn another way of doing business because they've only learned one. And that way is
Outdated.
obsolete.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what, we should be launching mid-February. Um, and it's exciting. I just want to help as many jewelry designers as I can. I
How
really,
do they find you?
well, it will be jewelrybusinessschool.com. Currently it's cbjewelryschool.com, so it's still available inside the jewelry school
Hmm.
website, but it will be jewelrybusinessschool.com that they can. But you can always find me on Facebook, my personal profile.
Yeah, we'll have everything in the show notes. I want to drive as much business to you as possible
Thank you.
because I love your business model. I love what you're doing for other business owners. And for any, all my women entrepreneurs who are listening right now, you're in it, you're running your business, you're doing your thing. But when you can take yourself out of it and take all of your expertise and what you know and what you've grown and what you've built and mentor others and bring them along with you, that's the power of collaboration and community. And that's how we change the
Change the
world.
world. Yes. And
Yes.
here's something else for your listeners because
Yes,
this is
please.
fabulous. I'm a jeweler, so I also design exclusive fine jewelry wardrobes and collections for entrepreneurs on the world stage who then can take those collections and sell them to their own audience, which makes their own jewelry a tax write-off and exposes them to precious metals.
You guys,
So it's a
you're
revenue stream
getting
for your own empire.
You just got a revenue stream right here. You get amazing jewelry. You get an investment vehicle, tax write-off. Like, look at this just from one episode. And so awesome. Well, you are a wealth of knowledge. You have amazing jewelry. I love your business model. And it's true. I sat down next to her at a very loud pub. We had a lot of Irish women in there. And it as soon as she started talking, I was just like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. So I'm glad we had this conversation. I'm going to put all your info in the show notes. This probably will come out almost close to mid-February, so it'll be perfect in time for launching your school. And I'm going to have you back because we're going to have a whole and maybe do a whole series on Bitcoin. It may be more than one episode. I think you need to start a Bitcoin school too for women to make it, like you said, to get out of the crypto bro world and make it accessible, understandable, and less scary for women who may have some trepidation about stepping into that. Because you're right, it is a complete mindset shift. But definitely for one episode, I'm going to have you back for that. I love it.
I would love it. Bitcoin's my favorite thing to talk about in the whole world. So
Okay, forget jewelry. We're just going to talk about Bitcoin. We're just going to talk about Bitcoin. But I love your business model. I love what you're doing. I somebody told me today I need to go to Sedona. So like you mentioned that again, I'm like, okay, there it is again. It's coming up. And I want to point out again what you said about taking the big leaps in your business. Even, it's kind of my motto lately has been say yes and figure it out. And that's what you're doing with closing your metalsmithing schools and then getting the other systems in place to go even bigger. And what you're doing in the midst of that to center yourself and your own personal alignment. I just want to reiterate how important that is for everyone. And I know we've done episodes on it before, but I don't ever want to lose that when we talk about these big things: money, business, power, empowerment, wealth. Yes, and none of it matters if we don't have that internal peace and alignment and ease, because then the rest of it just goes haywire.
absolutely. That's a good word, haywire. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Right. I mean, they say that 90% of success is mindset, right? I absolutely believe that. It is the one thing that I have done the most over all of these years. Because I did not have the mindset that I have now. Not even close. Not even close. I had to work on it every single day. So I'm right there with you.
As do I. As do I. And I told somebody this morning, I was like, I was born a pessimist. So working on my mindset has been key. You're right. It has been key. So thank you for sharing that part. Thank you for coming to share with our business. Meaghan Young, everybody, I've got all her information in the show notes, and we're going to have her back and have a Bitcoin blast. So
Can't wait for that. Thank you so
awesome.
much.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Welcome to Expand Your Empire, the podcast where women stop deferring wealth and start building financial power. I'm Amanda Taylor, investor, strategist, and disruptor of outdated money rules. It's time to own your worth, grow your assets, and build a legacy that lasts.